So I'm back with my signatures to put in the journal. And what I did was I did show you in the last one, I did a sewing around some other sort of cardstock paper, and then I glued this in. Well, I tried my hand at sewing around the pages, and yeah, you can see they're pretty wonky. And I thought, you know, I'm just not going to struggle with this. I just need to get better at it before I do a journal in it. So I printed a different one of these so that I could just ink everything up, which all has been done. Everything's been inked, and then they're ready to go in. So this is signature number 1. And the first thing I need to do is, you've probably seen this a lot, so to some, this will not be new. This is just norm. But I'm going to put some clips on my books. I don't want it to shift now at this point. And then I have my template right here that we used in the beginning to actually get the holes in here, which I got a couple wonky, but I think they're going to work, so I'm not going to worry too much about it. So I want to get this pretty straight in the middle. And then what I'm going to do is, I could mark them first with pencil just to be on the safe side, but I'm just going to, like, haphazardly, I'm just going to follow that mark, and I'm just going to go for it. And I'm not going to move that until it's completely, all 3 spaces are completely done. And even if I've not punched through to the other side, I have it secured and I have the punch started, so I can always go back and continue that through. Okay, so yep, that one's through, that one's through, and that one is through. Okay, so I just use a book. I know some people have that fancy little, it's like a wood thing, and it's got it's like a cradle that comes together, and then that's how they punch their books, which is awesome. But I just use this. And then I do not undo these. So I would normally, if I would get all my books together, get all of this done and do it in steps, but we're just going to go for it. So what I've done is I've threaded embroidery floss. I wish I had brown, but I think that the burgundy is still going to go pretty nicely in here because there's a lot of elements within the kit that have sort of a burgundy color. I would normally use this, and it's just like a heavier duty quilting thread. But I thought, well, I'm going to try this because I really wanted something different. So what I'm going to do, and I will tell you, I struggle with this. I sometimes have to undo them and start over. So I'm going in the first hole of the first signature. Okay. And my fingers just don't work the way they should. So sometimes it's just a struggle. So I'm going to hold this here, and then I'm going to go through the bottom into, and this is where I struggle. I lose hold of it. It's just a struggle for me. But I keep persevering. I have put books together, so just keep working at it. Where's that hole? There. Okay, and then I'm gonna find this one. Okay, so I have that through. So I now have that through. I'm gonna pull the rest of it. Now, when I originally started doing these, and you want, I should have mentioned too, you want your thread 3 lengths of the book. So 1, 2, 3, and you can leave a little extra, especially if you're just starting out, because that'll just give you a little more security that you're not going to lose that thread. Okay, so when it gets about right here, I don't worry too much if it's pulled tight, just because I'm going to have to struggle with this one too. So I'm going to go back through the top one. I'm going to find that top hole. And back out that top hole. I find it. So I guess I'm showing you this because I don't want you to be frustrated, like, oh my gosh, I can't do that. It's too hard. Because I struggle too, and I want you to know that that's okay. You can struggle. Now see, that hole just wasn't big enough, so I have to go back in and make that wider. I could feel my needle would not go through. Now it's going through. Okay. So I do all the tightening after. I don't worry a whole lot about it. So then you're going to want to come back down. Now when you come back down, do you see how this thread is laying on this side? You want to come back through that center hole, but you want this thread to be laying on this side, and you don't want to split the thread, which again, I still struggle with. So I just kind of hold my finger there and again, search for that hole, because it's got to be a little bit tight at this point, or you'll never find the hole to get it back through. And sometimes I don't. So what I do is I just come up through here. Then I find that hole. Okay. I'm going to lay it on the other side, and then I'm going to worry about tightening it all up later. Some people can do it all at the same time. I cannot. It just doesn't work. Signature's in right. Another thing you want to check. So see, it's pretty loose right now, and I don't want it to be loose. So I'm going to just start tightening by starting to pull on either of these to get those in there a little bit tighter. I'm just not going to pull from the center. I'm going to pull from each side so that I can feel that they're getting tight, because I don't want to start ripping the book. I don't want to rip my holes. All right, so that feels pretty tight. Yeah, that's pretty tight in there. So I'm just going to give it one more little tug. And then, of course, my fingers don't always like to work right either, so I struggle. So I try to keep my finger in there. It's all about struggle today. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pull. I'm going to put my finger in there, and then I'm going to maneuver that down. And then I'm going to just tighten it just while my finger's still on there. And yeah, I've got it in there. It looks good. So see, this was the 3 lengths, so I had enough. But I'm going to give that another knot, and then I can always make a bow for the center. Come on. Which again is a struggle. Or I can just leave them. I can leave them alone, which is normally what I do. Now, if you make these a little bit longer, you can always put dangles at the bottom. So there is signature 1. I'm going to turn that around. So here's my first set of holes, signature 1. Yep, it's in there pretty good. So I'm going to finish the other signatures, get them in there, and then I will come back when that's all done. Okay, all of my signatures are in, and I'm pretty sure I deleted the video of how I went about starting to get it organized, but I'm just going to go through it real quick because I've now have things in the book. So what I start to do is I get my handy dandy little sheet out here, and it's just a pocket guide of some different things that I can put in the journal. Now, if you would like this, I have it over on Amanda Charlesworth on Create with Scrimping Mommy. I have it on her Facebook page in the file section. She gave me permission to put it there for you all to use. So I think I put a blank one in there too. So when you come up with more, you can add to it. So I have 3 sheets here, but this is just sort of a guide to how I'm going to get this book started. Then I take out my little mini sticky notes here, and then I start to just sort of jot like on each page, just so I don't create the same thing throughout, although this one did end up kind of being that way. But then I'll just start to be like, okay, like for instance, this page right here, I'm like, okay, I know I want a corner spot. So I just sort of make myself a little bit of a drawing of what I'm going to use. And then when I'll come over here and find that one. So it's actually this one. And then I just put a little X mark. I'll go through and erase these when I'm done, but it lets me know, okay, I've already used that in 2 spots. I've used that in 2 spots. And it's just a guideline to get me started. It doesn't mean I stick with it. So that's just sort of how I get that done. I believe in the first video I had already showed there was a lot of elements and pockets and stuff that came with the kit. So I already went through, put those in where I wanted them, and then I started to do this step to give me some guidance. So I have done that, and what I'm going to do, I've got a couple I went back and printed because I'm going to show you what's happening here. So I went through, and of course I made my pockets. Now I like to make these little hidden pockets. I think they're super cute, and if you just take everything out, you still have the full effect of the whole page. I mean, the prints are absolutely gorgeous. So I did that, and then I went through and I sort of followed my guide. So this one would have been this one, and it's actually a window pocket. But when you take it out, it gives the illusion of the whole thing being there. Then this came with the element. So I'm not going to go through all of them because I will do a final flip through. I haven't finished this one yet because I need to go back and print another sheet like this so that I can do these little pockets or little slots. I think I might do 3 of them here, and then I can put little ticket stubs and stuff in them. I think that would be cute. And then this one, okay, so I did print another one of these out and I left my tag in here because I wanted to remember that I now want to make a small pocket. So you can see that this has the big pocket, but I want to make a little pocket. So I needed another one of these in order to accomplish that illusion that I like to get. It's just fun to do. I don't know. I just think it's really cool. So now in the middle of each of these, they all have the same middle in each 3 signatures. So what I've done is I want to do the same exact thing in each one of them. And I've trimmed them off accordingly so that when I actually glue them in, they will match up and also give that illusion. Other than the inking around the edges, it will give the illusion that that's all one page. So I'm going to do that with all 3. So I had to go back and print a couple more of those. Saved the tops, which is what I'm using for here, because this now can become a journal spot. I can make a tag out of that, and then it can just become a journaling spot. And then another one I wanted to show you is this one. So I wanted to show this because although I may lay this out and say, okay, this is what I'm thinking at that moment, it doesn't mean that moment can't change. And when I got to doing this one, you would lose, or it would overlap the picture, and I didn't like it. So what I did was I made 2 separate ones, but I made this one only glued at each edge, so I can do I'm going to do a full sheet of paper down there, and then I can put smaller tags down here. So I thought that was kind of fun, but that's why I left that in there, because I wanted to be able to show you what I did there. And then let's see, I haven't done that one yet, so you'll see that in the final flip through. Now this was another one. Okay, this was my original thought. I'm going to do this, But I loved the picture so much, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, I'd love to do an illusion of the picture, but yet you can still put things in here. You can slip them up there, slip them to the bottom, but I thought that was kind of neat. Plus you can still journal in this area. Okay, and then I think I'm gonna save some goodies for the end. This one I have not done yet, but this is what I intend to do with this one, or something similar. Not quite sure, but I'm going to do something. And then got a couple more pockets here to put on. Now this one here, I ended up not doing this, and I might not do it on the other one because it was supposed to be like this. But then you have to print, I'm sorry, this way. You have to print a whole nother sheet, line it up here, and the pocket was so small as it was, I thought, no, I'm not going to do that because it's just going to, you know, it was just going to take so much, another whole printing of a whole sheet to get what I wanted. So I thought that's just good enough. And I may just do that with the other one, or who knows, I might switch a gear and do something completely different. I don't know. So yeah, this video was supposed to be a little bit longer because I had gone through my whole process. This is going to be a frame. I do keep, this might just be an idea for someone. This is my idea book. And in my idea book, I keep extra things, extra frames, extra, you know, things that I've done, which, and this has two because it was like, oh, which one do I like better? I really liked, you know, I don't know, I could do either, but I liked that curve, you know. So I can go back and look to see what I want to put in there. But then I have these frames, and I just keep them so that when I go to make my frame, I do a bunch of these, they're ready to go, boom. So what you would do is you would glue this to your page this way, and then I cut it out, I take my X-Acto knife and cut that out, and then you have this awesome frame. So that is what I will be doing with that one. So I'm just gonna leave that out. So that's it for now. The next video is going to be a flip through, and we're gonna start filling it up and adding things to it, and then it will be done. Oh, my cover. Actually, my next one might be the cover and a flip through. So for now, that's it. Thanks everyone. I hope you enjoy. Have a great day.